Good morning, everyone. Morning. I'm looking at the clock in the back of the parlor, and it's at 10 o'clock a.m. Slow. Is it slow? That's good to see everyone. It's 10:02 apparently. Our parlor clock is running 2 minutes slow this morning. So we're glad to see everyone is here. I do want to mention again that we have a new assistive listening system here in the parlor that we tried out last week for the first time. And we have 6 personal listening devices. They're in the back of in the coffee room on the information table if you want to try one out today.
The email about
the system is part of the transmitters under the table down front. Currently turned on.
Something in your mind before it expires.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I got that. Thank you.
Today we're doing a Thanksgiving service. It's a Thanksgiving weekend approaches on Thursday.
I paid it, you paid it.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with Prelude this morning. And this comes from Greg Foat album. He's a London-based keyboardist and composer. The album was released just this week. His 5th album this year. Yes, he's quite prolific, to say the least. And so the title of the album and this song is Rituals of Infinity. And this will serve as our centering morning meditation piece this morning to prepare yourself for today's Thanksgiving service. For our moment of centering silence, let us pause and create space for appreciation and thanksgiving. We do not take this life for granted. Each breath and each beat of our heart is life in us. Thankful are we in this moment of time. We're going to light our chalice if Nicole will assist me this morning. You look way too comfortable in water. We light the chalice in gratitude today. May we not take this life for granted, its beauty, its brevity, its challenges, and its rewards. May our hearts be open to all of this in this Thanksgiving season. A short invocation for Thanksgiving. The blessings of God are bountiful and generous to all of creation and to the children of the earth. As the skies hold the clouds and the clouds contain both sunshine and showers, may we hold both the blessings of this life as well as the challenges. We enter this service today to bring remembrance to our blessedness. We join together on this day as one people in this shared space as generations have done before us, and we continue in thankfulness, in gratitude, in appreciation. Blessed are we all on this day. Amen. Opening words this morning are by Adlai Stevenson, who ran for president twice, in 1952 and 1956, losing to Eisenhower both times. He served as ambassador to the UN during the Kennedy administration, and he was a Unitarian. 4 presidents of the United States were Unitarians. This is your history backlog this morning for Thanksgiving. John Adams, John Quincy Adams, Millard Fillmore, who most people forget, and William Howard Taft, who also came to Holden back in 1917 in a parade appeared. Barack Obama also had connections to the Congregational Church, the Black Congregational Church, and also to the UU. He was enrolled in the Unitarian Universalist Sunday School in Honolulu, Hawaii, when he used to visit his maternal grandmother. And he also visited the UU Church several times as president when on vacation in Hawaii. Adlai Stevenson. To the United States and the world, he was a voice of a reasonable, civilized, and elevated America. Journalist David Halberstam wrote that Stevenson's gift to the nation was his language, elegant and well-crafted, thoughtful and calming. But he did lose the election on 2 occasions. This is from Stevenson. What do I believe? As an American, I believe in generosity, in liberty, in the rights of humanity. These are social and political faiths that are part of me, as they are, I suppose, part of all of us. Such beliefs are easy to express, but part of me too is my relation to all of life, my religion. And this is not so easy to talk about. Religious experience is highly intimate, personal, and for me, ready words are not always at hand. sometimes if words are not at hand, we sing. So let us do so with hymn number 69 in our great book, one of our Thanksgiving selections, Give Thanks. And shall we stand as you are able? Our group reading this morning is a harvest reading, a harvest of gratitude, number 656. I'll read the bold if you assist with the italicized. Once more the fields have ripened to harvest, and the fruitful earth has fulfilled the promise of spring.
The work of those who labor has been rewarded. They have sown and reaped, planted and gathered.
How rich and beautiful is the bounty gathered, the golden grain and clustered corn, the grapes of purple and green.
The crimson apples and yellow pears, and all the colors of orchard and garden, vineyard and field.
Season follows after season, after winter, spring, after summer, the harvest-laden autumn.
From bud to blossom, from flower to fruit, from seed to bud again, the beauty of earth unfolds.
From the harvest of the soil, we are given occasion to garner a harvest of heart and mind.
A harvest of resolve to be careful stewards of all life's gifts and opportunities.
A harvest of reverence for the wondrous power in life, at work, in things that grow, and in the soul.
A harvest of gratitude for every good which we enjoy, and a fellowship for all who are sustained by earth's beauty.
It's time for a pledge drive update, week 2. So I want to thank Matt for creating our little guide thermometer going through pledge drive season as we move towards our target total of 20,000. And I noticed Matt left a little room on the top of the thermometer in case we go over. It could go actually off the chart and we figure out how to do that. But right now, after week 1, we are at $9,100, and that is with 7 pledge units coming in. So we're almost halfway up the thermometer to our goal. We're just below 10,000 at this point. So we will keep you posted as we go towards our UU goal. And we have pledge cards in the back of the church. I'm not sure if you have one of these. We sent out packets this week in the mail. It's also online on the support page, has a copy of the pledge letter. And what you can do is just fill out the amount, name, pledge amount, broken down weekly or monthly or annual total, or a one-time donation. Fill it out on the slip and just drop it into the offering plate on a given Sunday during the pledge drive, or you can mail it in to our address, 61 Military Street. And again, we still have our premiums. Every donation over $100 qualifies you for a choice of free t-shirt or Cup Cafe travel mug. Merchandise left over from our eclipse this year, earlier in the year, and the Cup Cafe t-shirt with the eclipse logo on it. So you have a choice. If you're a pledge unit of 2 people, you're giving 1 pledge, you get 2 gifts, the choice of 2, or a single pledge unit, 1 person, choice of mug or t-shirt. A beautiful premium. We made great Christmas gifts as well. So Matt, thanks again for doing the great graphic, building excitement and momentum as we move towards our goal. For our offering this morning, on the piano you'll see the pishka, which we collect for local needs in our community, as well as connections to our congregation. Offering donation, Foat fund is also on the piano, and a building fund. There's lots of jars and many ways to give this time of year in the middle of our pledge drive. This morning, a musical selection comes from Piero Umillani, an Italian composer of film scores in the 1950s and 60s. Most well known for Mana Mana, which was used on the old Red Skeleton show back in the 60s, in the Muppet show and Muppet movies. Mana Mana was his tune. Did a lot of soundtracks for movies, and what we're featuring this morning is Savesia, well, it's La Signora Cameriera off his album Savesia Inferno Paradiso from 1968. It's otherwise known as the Whistling Song, and you may have heard this before. Matt, could be our usher this morning.
You don't give today, you give the first.
Let us give hearts of gladness. Queuing it up, Matt. Hang on just a minute. Feel free to whistle along as the song goes. Like my sign compared to yours?
Love it. It's great. It's gonna splash. Good job.
When I first met Linda, we realized that we were both lousy whistlers. So every time we come across people who can whistle and do it well, we just look at each other and smile and let them do the whistling. Today's talk is part 4 of our theme, the science of religion and our shared UU values, love at the center. And today we are looking at generosity, one of the UU shared values. The title of the talk is The Big Double G. Earlier this fall, when our group leadership was looking at the 6 UU shared values, we noticed generosity was one of the values. We looked at each other and quickly realized, oh, here's the obvious choice to use during our pledge drive in Thanksgiving season. So here we are. I am attempting to construct a sermon this morning using Lemony Snicket quotations, a couple of Mary Oliver poems, and a toy lunchbox filled with chocolate samples. A rather curious combination, I must say. Let's see how this goes. This is Lemony Snicket from the book The Penultimate Peril. One can remain alive long past the usual expiration date if one is unafraid of change, insatiable in intellectual curiosity, interested in big things, and happy in small ways. Similar to a ladybug flying in a house, a warm dwelling in November. And related to pledge drive interest, Lemony Snicket says, people who say money doesn't matter are like people who say cake doesn't matter. It's probably because they've already had a couple of slices. Frustration is an interesting emotional state because it tends to bring out the worst in whoever is frustrated. So this morning we're looking at the ratio between frustration and appreciation is the gap, essentially, between suffering and okayness. This is the big double G, which will help to bridge the gap and help to assist us in moving forward, no matter what the circumstances. And we don't know. The circumstances are quite often not the ones we planned or the ones that we wanted. So the big double G's are gratitude and generosity. And inside the bulletin this morning, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, gratitude. And last week, this was the graphic used on the pledge drive, make generosity part of your growth strategy. And it's an interesting pairing of these two terms, first letter G, hence the big double G. If you put an arrow on the top of this, connecting gratitude to generosity, and then on the bottom, do the same thing. Take an arrow and connect generosity to gratitude. You get kind of this looping, connecting effect, or a feedback loop of how the two work together. Gratitude is the response to generosity, and generosity is a response to gratitude. It can get confusing. Which comes first? Does one follow the other, or is it the other way around? Or does it really matter? All I know is that when you are in the movement or in the flow of these two dynamics, the two really are a very similar feeling or experience. This exchange of good vibes, cosmic buzz, and results in a heart that feels a bit larger and more alive than it did a minute ago. When you think of generosity, automatically include gratitude and vice versa. When you think gratitude, automatically include generosity. And the two, feeding off each other, generate this momentum that can, even when your life appears to be losing some momentum or losing its focus, this will help bring it, oftentimes, to bring it back on track. If you notice someone else who is in need, or noticing, oftentimes that'll reflect on how well off you are, or do not have those problems or issues that someone else has. You might have your own. The other person doesn't have those. But as there's awareness, or if you notice, all of a sudden that appreciation kicks in, the gratitude, which leads to a generosity movement of action, or ideas suddenly arise in your head, and the frustration levels start to drop, and our model behavior becomes positive, creative, supportive, and very timely where someone else might need your specific efforts. So when it comes to UU shared values, we have 6 of them. And on the pledge letter this year, Randy included that emblem of love in the center and these 6 values that are connected to love. And those are, and as I say these, think about generosity in this case, and how generosity has a connection or influence in some manner to all of the other 5 values in this case. I'm going to go down the list and just observe how generosity connects to each one of them. Ready? Equity. Interdependence. Pluralism. Transformation. Justice. And love. The center. When we talk about one value, we are indirectly or directly talking about them all. There is an interconnection between each of them, a hint or suggestion that one is not that far removed from the others, and it's love that ties it all together. As we continue our study this year, I think you will see this recurring observation. Each of the shared values are related to and interconnected in some way to each other and the rest of them. The bulletin image today shows a plate with a word bubble in the middle of a plate. And I think the plate is a good symbol of shared abundance and generosity. You know, think Thanksgiving dinner and a plate heaped with all the fixings. Maybe you're taking a little too much, going back, the plate just keeps getting filled and filled. Or when you were a child, you were going to your grandparents' house for Thanksgiving, you know, of the food that would just keep coming your direction, an overflow, abundance, generosity, aromas, good smell, good food, family, good communication. So I like that image of a plate and filling it up with whatever association that might be for you now or from years ago or from your childhood. And the word bubble in the middle, the quotation marks are interesting. The bubble suggests that our speech, comments, and verbal communication is also a means to offer generosity or support to each other or to those in need this time of year. So take this home with you. It's just a fun little image to trigger those associations. And the Mary Angelou quote inside the bulletin kind of refers to this quotation mark. I learned that I could be a giver by simply bringing a smile to another person. The ensuing years have taught me that a kind word, a vote of support, is a charitable gift. When we give cheerfully and accept gratefully, everyone is blessed. And back to the double G, it's this giving and receiving comes into play as well. And it's hard to really differentiate between when you're on the receiving end, gratitude and generosity start to kick in, and when you're on the giving end. And sometimes it's important. You have to have both going on in your life to get that momentum of the big double G going. Giving and receiving. Receiving and giving. So this morning, I have two examples of a big double G, experiments in giving and generosity that you might want to try for yourself. This first one comes from a TED Talk from several years ago titled A Generosity Experiment by Sasha Deichter. He's the co-founder and CEO of 60 Decibels, an impact measurement company that helps organizations around the world better understand their customers, suppliers, and beneficiaries. Sasha is also a noted speaker and blogger on generosity, philanthropy, and social change. The author of Manifesto for Nonprofit CEOs and the creator of Generosity Day. If you go online and click, you can find out what that's about. It's related to Giving Tuesday, I believe. So here is his generosity experiment. We actually played this in a workshop in the cafe during a pledge drive pre-COVID. And he said, 30 days saying yes to everyone who asked him for money or any civic organization running a pledge drive. He picked 30 days and said yes to every appeal. Someone on the street, in a casual conversation. He said, is this the smartest way to give? And he said, no. This was not about the smartest gift I could give. This was about me. I wanted to stop saying no. Which for many of us, it does become this pattern. We can't always say yes. You end up finding yourself saying no more than you might like, and it starts to establish a new feeling or approach. So he said, I was hiding behind what was smart, and it kept me from doing what was right. I needed a new habit, a new reflex. I wanted to practice being more generous. I realized that if I wanted the world to be more open and more action-oriented and more generous, then I needed to be more open, more action-oriented, and more generous. So I tried this for a couple of days. I didn't do the 30-day experiment. And I might add that a warning comes with this generosity model. No matter how many days you might select to try it, if you make this sort of deal, I guarantee the universe will take you up on your offer, so watch out. You will have opportunity to say yes or no. In the long haul, perhaps selective balance to try it once in a while for a couple of days or short stretches, or during our 4-week UU Holden pledge drive. Don't try to evaluate any of your requests. Try it without analysis and just be generous and see how it feels. And check your bank account statement. At some point you may have to stop it. But see how many days that you can go driving by someone on the street, opportunities, creative ideas, appeals will arise. Experiment number 2, this is titled Random Acts of Chocolate by Amy Shern. I found this on the internet. Here's her story. The other day I was spending some of my scant time here on Earth moping in an epically long line at my local CVS. This store seems to employ only about 2 people. And waiting in line, I could actually feel my life trickling away. Then I saw the display. Get 'em, give 'em. Random acts of chocolate scrawled on bins full of candy bars, which were now suddenly being equated with acts of kindness. I have to say, as rebranding efforts go, this one seems pretty brilliant. Maybe it was the flickering fluorescent lights, but I was compelled, as if hypnotized, to purchase not 1, but 2 chocolate bars. I would get them. I would give them. I would brighten someone's day. After all, I know that performing even the smallest act of kindness can improve my life, and who knows, possibly change the world. I told myself I was going to gift a scrumptious Snickers bar to the next downtrodden-looking stranger I saw. But as I walked down the street, I started to lose my nerve. Who would accept candy from a stranger? Haven't we all been warned enough not to do that? But then I spotted her, my perfect target. A tired-looking 60-something woman got off the bus in front of me and started shuffling along, hunched over on a cold day in New York City. I took a deep breath and handed her the candy bar. A look of classic New Yorker refusal flickered across her face. But then she looked up and realized I wasn't trying to sell her something or grab her purse, or worst of all, ask for money for Greenpeace. Here I said, feeling like an idiot, it's a random act of chocolate. Somewhere at the Mars Candy Company marketing headquarters, copywriters were giving one another high fives as I did this. She looked confused and then smiled very slightly and said, okay. I triumphantly watched her walk away with the candy. She had smiled very slightly. She was going to enjoy a sweet treat and wonder all night about the stranger who brightened her day. In the end, I realized what had been exciting about my dalliance with random acts was actually that moment of reaching out to a stranger, which happens so rarely in a big city, or maybe anywhere, and that the day that had been brightened was also my own. It was so fun, in a weird way, that I've been trying to keep up the habit, whether it's offering a pound of good coffee to a highly caffeinated friend, and I'm all for that, or a small fresh cut flower to the babysitter. Random acts of tiny, occasionally diet-busting pleasures. So this morning, I brought my tiny toy box, lunchbox, and it is full of tiny chocolate bars, all dark chocolate edition of Kit Kats, Yorks, and Hershey bar. So I'm going to pass this around. And you can take,
Yes, I
you can
know.
take two of these, one for yourself, one off. But if there are dietary restrictions, you may have to factor that into this. So, take two, one for yourself, and then one to give away sometime this week. And you score extra bonus points if it happens to be a stranger. So I'm going to play a little music. This is called When the Sky is Clear, as this is circulating. Random acts of chocolate. I can already feel the energy in the room, sweetening and rising. I could hear the sound of crackling candy wrappers opening as the lunchbox was circulating. And again, you do have to give one of those away if you so choose. Okay, a couple of short Mary Oliver poems. Because right now it's a difficult and uncertain time out there to be generous. So the calculating and the analysis starts to kick in. But here's what Mary Oliver says, titled 1,000 Mornings. Again, the title from her book, 1,000 Mornings. All night and day, all night my heart makes its way, however it can, over the rough ground of uncertainty. But only until night meets and then is overwhelmed by the morning. The light deepening, the wind easing, and just waiting, as I too wait. And when have I ever been disappointed for redbird to sing? And then a poem about dollars and real estate investment in the real world, and what are the values in this life that really matter. This is titled, A Choice, a House or $1 million? People do it, sometimes out of desperation or frustration. Others out of greed. They steal, they take it. The very powerful and clever might steal a whole house or $1 million. It's been done. But what does it matter? Love is the one thing that our heart craves, and love is the one thing you cannot steal. And one last poem, inspiring words. This is titled, Don't Hesitate. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. And much can never be redeemed in this world. But still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is his way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all of the riches and the power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be crumb. So in this holiday season of abundance, think of a big double G, no crumbs. Look for the larger sustenance for yourself to receive and to give to others who may need it most dearly this time of year. To keep the momentum and that cycle going and movement in your own soul, to keep it moving and to send it a direction towards someone who might need it right now. In closing, one more Lemony Snicket quotation. Like this sermon, the book was long and difficult to read, and Klaus became more and more tired as the night went on. Occasionally, his eyes would close. He found himself reading the same sentence over and over. He found himself reading the same sentence over and over. He found himself reading the same sentence over and over. As we extinguish the chalice, we continue with our day knowing that it has been good to be together, even if but for a short time. Let us walk in love. May peace and kindness accompany us all.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you'd like to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and help us out by sharing this message by clicking the share button. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to you, Church Holden, there is a link to our online donations in the video description down below. And again, thank you so much and have a blessed day.